So folks, this is where I want to do the final part of this little film about life on Kibbutz Tzorah today. So welcome to my home. What you're looking at over here is where I live. This is our garden over here. We love our garden. We spend quite a lot of time fixing it up. Now, particularly during the Corona days, I have weeded more than I've weeded probably in the rest of my life. Let's go for a little walk around over here in front of the house. And I'm then going to take a seat and sit down over here and talk to you a bit to wrap up what I've been doing for the last 20 minutes or so, talking about life on Kibbutz Tzorah. Just by the way, as I mentioned that orally, my wife does mosaic as a hobby. Here you'll see 3 little mosaic men that she did. Behind us is an old frying pan that she mosaiced. There is a mirror over here, and these 2 beautiful fireflies that she did recently. And this is an old door that we found when I was wandering around with her one day in Sfat. Let me sit down now and finish up this piece about the kibbutz. So before we talk about life today on the kibbutz, I want to show you something that we found from the old days of the kibbutz. Just a couple of minutes, which shows you something of a very different atmosphere, over 70 years ago when the kibbutz was founded. So just watch this next little piece and then I'll talk about some of the changes today.
זה לא אותו העמק, זה לא אותו הבית, אתם אינכם ולא תוכלו לשוב, השבילים השדרה ובשמיים עין, אך החיטה צומחת שוב, השבילים השדרה ובשמיים עין, אך החיטה צומחת שוב. מן העפר המר העיריות עולות, ועל הדשא ילד וכלבו, מואר החדר ויורדים לילות על מה שבו ומה שבליבו. זה לא אותו העמק, זה לא אותו הבית, אתם אינכם ולא תוכלו לשוב, השבילים השדרה ובשמיים עין, אך החיטה צומחת שוב, השבילים השדרה ובשמיים עין, אך החיטה צומחת שוב.
That really was quite something. I'm sure many of the images you saw over there are images that you've seen before. You've seen similar images to that. And that in your mind, of course, is kibbutz. When you walked in front of my home over here with me and saw this house and see what we have over here, clearly you can tell that things have changed. So let me talk a little bit more about today. Sometimes people come to the kibbutz and they say, we expected it to look differently. We expected to see people wearing blue work clothes and dancing the hora and wearing a kovatembo, little hats, the funny hats that kibbuznikim used to wear. What has happened to you? We're disappointed. We want you to be what you were. So of course this is not a museum. This is a place where people live. From a system in which everything was shared by us totally, a system in which there were no individual television sets at home, a system in which we didn't even have landlines, telephone lines. There used to be just a couple on the kibbutz that we all shared, to a reality today in which we have partly privatized. This isn't a full privatization, but we've partly privatized our lives. What do I mean by that? We have created a system called the security net system, What we do in that system is we voluntarily tax ourselves after we get the money, after the money that we earn has been taxed by the government, by local taxes and every other type of tax. And we voluntarily tax ourselves in additional amount. Why? Because we have decided that even though many things now are privatized on the kibbutz, we still feel that we need to take responsibility to some extent for those people on the kibbutz who still need the help of the common the community. Who are these people? I will say a little bit about who they are, and then if you have questions after during the period that we're going to have for questions, feel free to ask about additional questions about this. So I have what I say is a litmus test of whether we still are a community that I'm proud of. My litmus test basically looks at particular situations on the kibbutz, and I then say if we manage to really solve those issues for particular people, we still are the type of community that I want to be. Let me make it very clear. You can only live in a community like this if your bottom line is that you believe that each and every one of us has a responsibility to the people around us, if you additionally understand that all of us at some points in our lives are strong, and generally at some points in our lives are weak. I'm strong. I bring in a good income. There are certain people who are weaker, not only because they don't have the same earning capacity, but they might have an issue like they might suffer from some type of severe learning disability. So one of my litmus tests, for example, is called the Dovi test. We have a person who was born on this kibbutz, suffered minimal brain damage at birth because of a lack of oxygen in the birthing process, and he has severe learning disabilities. I feel that we're all responsible for him. And there are a couple of other examples that I could give. If you're interested in more examples, please ask. You can only live over here if you believe in sharing, if you believe in taking care of those for whom life is more difficult than it is for you. You can only live over here if you are prepared to have people know maybe more about you than they would if you lived in the city in very, very autonomous and separate situations. So those were 4 very short vignettes about my life on the kibbutz. There is so much else to say, but at this point all I need to say to you is see you on virtual journey number 12. Keep safe, folks.